Have you ever heard the extraordinary story of Azure the Bluebird? Azure was more than just a bird. She was a stunning sight, with feathers that sparkled like diamonds in the sun. Her songs were full of happiness and hope, and they filled the lush green fields surrounded by old forests with a lovely melody. Azure's friend in this peaceful area was a happy robin named Rufus. They were the best of friends, always seen together, until one day Rufus vanished without a trace. This cast a dark shadow over Azure's life. Then, at night with a full moon, Azure was sitting on top of the tallest oak tree. A desperate plea carried by the wind reached him. It was Rufus's voice, shaking with fear and calling from a world she did not know or remember. Azure made a brave choice after hearing this plea. As determined as a storm, Azure spread her wings and went on a trip that birds will talk about for a long time. As Azure went through oceans, forests, and deserts, it felt like the real world was warped. Life's usual colors disappeared, leaving behind a blanket of black and white with random bursts of bright, unpredictable color. Mountains looked like they were floating in the air, not connected to the ground, and rivers seemed to flow not with water but with molten rainbows. Their beauty was a mask for the dangers they concealed. Azure's path was full of strange creatures that did not make sense. Trees whose roots reached for the stars, stones that spoke in mysterious prophecies, and shadows that talked about old fears that had been forgotten. While things were strange and out of this world, Azure could feel her friend's call. She found her way through this maze of lies and illusions because her heart beat to the beat of friendship. There was a lot of fear and doubt around her, but Azure kept going. There was no north for her but her heart, and it pointed to Rufus. There were stronger sounds of Rufus's call that led her through the maze of illusions. Azure finally found Rufus locked up in a castle made of nightmare threads. She was in a cage full of dark, twisted dreams. The castle, which was a fortress of fears, loomed over everything, its walls filled with the fear of many people. The air was heavy with the smell of hopelessness, but Azure kept going because she was strong and determined. Rufus lived in the middle of the castle. The sorcerer's crazy dreams had dimmed her spirit but not put it out completely. Although Azure was sad, her heart was full of hope. Now that she had found her friend, nothing else was important. Suddenly, from the shadows emerged the sorcerer. His eyes were so dark they looked like a void, filled with all the tears and fears we all have. She challenged Azure to a battle of wits and will, a trial that would test the Bluebird's resolve. It was cold and dark, and the sorcerer's challenge echoed through the halls, a scary reminder of the job that needed to be done. Azure would have to show how brave, smart, and kind she is in this situation. The battle was deadly and scary. It was a clash of light and dark, of hope and despair. Azure, our beautiful Bluebird, met the challenge with courage that could only come from a heart full of friendship and love. Azure always had a wise and smart answer to every riddle the sorcerer threw at him. Her answers were as bright as the feathers on his head. This was not just a battle of brains, but a test of will and spirit. Azure, filled with determination, kept her focus on the cage holding Rufus. She sang a song with a melody that was so pure and bright that it broke the sorcerer's fears and false beliefs. Every note Azure played showed how brave she was, and every line of lyrics showed how determined she was to keep going. As the last note shook the air, the sorcerer's dark world trembled. The cage of nightmares that held Rufus fell apart, its twisted dreams dissipating into nothingness. At long last, Rufus was free. Azure and Rufus were on their way home when the sky lit up with the cheers of their victory. Their triumphant return was hailed with songs of joy and relief, their presence turning the world a notch brighter. Azure, with her feathers sparkling like diamonds, and Rufus, free from the cage of nightmares, became symbols of courage and resilience. Every animal that heard their story was moved by the way it sounded in the old woods. Their trip was not just about getting out of danger. It was also about how strong friendship, love, and the courage to face the unknown can be. The world seemed to be beating to the tune of their story, a tune that sang of bravery and friendship. Every bird, every animal, every tree, and every stone carried a piece of their legend in their hearts. In this way, Azure's story became part of the stories that have been told for many years. The story is meant to get us thinking, cheer us up, and remind us that friendship can light up any dark place. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for updates on our latest videos.